All right, guys, I know a few of you have been asking, and I finally got a few minutes here to do a little video on the PGA model that I am now posting over at Sportsbet Army. And really simple. This is a lot of just the basics of what the model is. The model is going to tell you what my win percentage is for each one of these golfers, and of course translate that into what the odds would be based on those win probabilities. And the model is going to spit that out for us, and then we're going to post it here, and we're going to compare that to Vegas odds, which aren't necessarily Vegas odds. I believe these are coming from the mybookie.com website. So that's the sportsbook where we're drawing from here. So really important before you even dive into that is you will want to get as many possible outs or books that you can bet at as possible. As a professional, having one or two outs, as we call them, is just not enough. You need really many outs so that you can get the best possible prices on all sports, but especially here in golf, because you can see a huge disparity between some books, and you can just start picking off some really good prices here and there. And that's really the name of the game in sports betting. I know a lot of it, a lot of the perceived, I guess what people think sports betting is trying to be clairvoyant and predict the outcome of an event, which partially that is true. But really what we're looking to do more often than not is find value where we can. And then the more we do that, the more positive EV, expected value, that we can invest in or bet on. We're hoping that translates into a positive ROI and increases our bankroll. So with that said, we're going to look at this really quickly. The golfers, self-explanatory. These are the golfers. Specifically, this event is the Wyndham Championship here in August of 2020. These are the odds, again, from my bookie's website. This is the odds that my model is spitting out, and this is the win probability or percentage based on those odds. All right, so then we could see in this column the EV, whether it's negative or positive, and that's going to be, again, based on the odds of my bookie. Now, if you have other outs, these numbers will again change drastically. For instance, let's look at some of the positive EVs that we have here. Jim Furyk, who's the best EV on the board at 8,000 odds, I was able to get that at 10,000 at DraftKings. So as good as 8,000 is, I like 10,000 even better. Someone asked me earlier about Rory Sabatini. Sabatini is 8,000 here at my bookie, but was 10,000 at, I believe it was DraftKings as well. And of course, they were asking, would that still be a bet for you at 8,000? And we could just look here. He should be about 9,100, 9,200, let's say. And we're only getting 8,000. Probably not a bet I want to make. At 10,000, now I'm going to start to think about it. Okay, so that's how you can use this sheet. If you're getting different odds than I am when I post my plays, I would reference this first and kind of get a feel for, am I still getting a good price, fair price on this golfer, even though I'm not getting the same price that John is getting, perhaps at his out. So consult this page. It's definitely going to help you. Also, when we are betting golf, I'm always taking a 2-win, not a 2-risk amount. What I mean by that is, if I'm getting 10,000 plus 10,000 on Jim Furyk, that's 100 to 1. I'm only going to be risking, if let's say I'm $1,000 better, or I'm $1,000 a unit better, I only need to risk $10 on Furyk. Now, why am I not risking a full unit? Why wouldn't I just risk $1,000? I mean, I can win, 100 times that. Well, that would be nice, but you're going to run out of your bankroll really quickly by doing that, even though it's a positive EV, and even though the EV at 10,000 is drastically better than this 16.6% is here. Just because you're getting a huge positive EV does not mean that you just put the entire bankroll on that play, no matter how good the EV is. What we want to do is, especially in these cases where we're taking 80 to 1 and 1,000 or 100 to 1 shots, is play it on a 2-win basis. All right, so we're going to try to win 1 unit. Maybe we even want to, maybe we'll double it. We'll try to win, it's such good EV, we'll try to win 2 units. But again, if a $1,000 player is only going to be risking $20 here on a plus 10,000 bet, where that's not unreasonable to make a $10 to $20 bet on that type of a player. But when we start risking, $100, which is 10% of our unit size, or $200, 20% of our unit size, way too much. Think about having positive EV on the lotto or the Mega Millions, right? If suddenly they said that, if you win, or your probability is going to be half of what it normally is, right? They're giving you 2 times better odds than the rest of the people out there. And if you win, or let's even put it better this way, let's say it goes up to $800 million, and if you win, you're guaranteed to win it by yourself. Therefore, now it's plus EV. Well, how much are you going to win? You're not going to, start pulling money out of the bank and taking a second mortgage to play it, because even at plus EV, the chances of you winning are still slim, right? In order to realize that EV, you've got to play the game over a long period of time, right? If I was giving you heads or tails coin flips, and I was paying you $5 every time it was heads, and you had to pay me $4 every time it was tails, you're going to want to play that game over and over. But I could beat you potentially in 10 flips, right? I can easily flip 6 or 7 tails before you throw, with your 3 heads in 10. But if we do it 1,000 times, the odds are pretty good you're going to be making 50 cents EV on that proposition. So is it 50 cents EV? Now I have to figure it out. Sorry. So 50 cents. So you would get on a $5 bet, 50% of the time you would win $5, right? That's $2.50. And then 50% of the time you're going to win $4. That's $2. So again, it is 50 cent positive EV. So I was right on that. But that's a bet where it's a 50-50 proposition. You're going to want to increase your bet size. You'll ask me, hey, can we play this for $100 or $200? Right? We're going to want to increase that because it's a 50-50 proposition. When we're talking about 100 to 1, we may never be able to play enough of these in order to realize our EV. So we keep it small and we take as many of them as we can, and that will reduce the volatility and variance that we'll see when playing these. That's why I'll take a basket of 4, 5, 6, 7 golfers every week. It'll lower your variance. And again, they're all going to be to win 1 unit. All right, so this is a spreadsheet that I want to show you. It's nothing more than what you just saw on the website, except that I've now added the odds for FanDuel, DraftKings, right? And then their top 5, the odds that this golfer finishes in the top 5 on both FanDuel and DraftKings. And now you could do this for obviously any website that where you place your bets, that you have an account with. I'm using 2 of the more popular ones here in the U.S. For this example. So I know a lot of you have asked me, should I play this golfer in the top 5? Should I play them top 10? Should I play them top 20? All right, I'm going to show you top 5, and you could really carry this over to the top 10 and top 20. It's the same logic. But if we look, what I've done here is, again, this is the odds. Webb Simpson is 1,000 over at FanDuel. He's 1050 on DraftKings. Of course, if you were going to bet Webb Simpson and you had the ability to bet on either one of these, you're going to take the plus 1050, slightly better odds. But this is interesting here. I'm getting better odds over at FanDuel to place a top 5 finish as opposed to DraftKings, even though his price to win is better at DraftKings. So it's really interesting. We can see that here. What I've done is just divide the win odds by the top 5 odds for both FanDuel and DraftKings. And what I'm looking at is anything under about a 5, 5.25, and this is going to vary by event because it's going to depend on how many people, how many golfers are in the event, the who's playing in the event, things like that. But so what you'll do is, if you make a spreadsheet like this and then figure it out, we've got about 5.25 is about the average differential or the ratio between the win odds and the top 5, right? And you can do this for top 10 and top 20. So if I have a golfer that I particularly like, let's go down and let's look at the Jim Furyk. Let's find them on here. Okay, so here's Furyk. I've got the win odds. I think he should be about 5,400. We're getting 7,000 at FanDuel. Again, 10,000 over at DraftKings. So of course we want to play this at DraftKings if we want to take him to win. But now we say, well, should we make this bet on Furyk as a top 5 finish? You know, obviously there's a more likelihood that happens than he wins the tournament. Well, if I only had FanDuel as an out, I would look at it. FanDuel 7,000, but I'm getting 1,600 to top 5. That ratio is 4.375. It's a pretty good ratio based on how most of the field is. I'd probably take the plus 1,600, but if I had DraftKings as my option, the 10,000 to 16, that's 6.25. They're giving you such better odds here to win that I'm going to want to take this bet to win. All right, so hopefully you see that point. Take a guy like, I was noticing this one before, and this just looks like a bad price, right? So you've got Kyle Stanley, 7,000 on FanDuel to win, 9,000 on DraftKings. So again, you would say, well, I like Kyle Stanley to win. I'm going to take him for the 9,000 as opposed to the 7,000 if I have that option of multiple outs. Let's say you do. Well, what's better? Would I take the 9,000 to win, or do I like this 3,100? First, let's just compare FanDuel to FanDuel. If we do that ratio, that's 2.25. It's like better than twice as good as the average ratio is here on these bets. So I really like taking him at 3,100 just to finish top 5. As a matter of fact, that's a bet that you should take right now if you're seeing it. But if I had the option of, let's say, DraftKings, FanDuel to win or to place in the top 5, I can then take, let's say, my best odds here to win are 9,000, and then I would divide that by the 3,100. So I'm going to get about a 3 ratio, right? That's still going to be under the 5.25. So I'm going to want to play the FanDuel top 5 over playing the DraftKings plus 9,000 to win. So that's a good way to look at these bets. Look for these really good ratios. Again, coordinate with the model. So if the model is showing a really good price here on a win as opposed to the sports book that you're looking at, then maybe take a look at the top 5, top 10. You're going to do this for each one of those, build a spreadsheet for that, and see maybe I'm getting a better price relative to the field on a top 5 or a top 10. That's going to lower your variance as well by doing that. And same premise here. We're going to be playing, if we're going to take the Furyk plus 1,600 bet, we're going to do that to win 1 unit. Okay, so as opposed to playing that as a unit, again, for the same reasons that I went over before. So hopefully that makes some sense. You can kind of review it. You can always hit me up in the Slack chat to go over this in more detail. If you have any questions, I try to make myself as available as I possibly can for everybody. And good luck this weekend. Good luck in the future whenever you're watching this on your golf bets and all your bets.